1968, the year that was. War, murders, riots, unrest. But for much of the youth of this time, who identified as hippies and flower children, this was the year of unshakable love, unshakable optimism, unshakable perfection. Love was cotton candy sugar sweet, bathed in tie-dye innocence. Nothing could go wrong. The monsters that lurked were mostly from bad trips on bad drugs. We learned to say fuck a lot and mean it. We weren't stupid, just stoned. The story you are about to hear is mostly true. The telling of it is part theater, part screenplay, part poetry, part song, part hearsay, part therapy, part sing-along. But it's all tripping on life, on my life. It's right here. Cut to black. Pitch black. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. What is that? You hear it? It's like a little hum. It's getting a little louder. Is that maybe the beginning of a song? I don't know. It's getting louder and louder. Is that a song? No, that's not so melodic anymore. That's gone from a hum to a whine to a screech to a scream. What is that? Is that an electric guitar, the screech of a car, the scream of a woman in pain? Maybe it's all these things like rain pouring down on you and you want to scream, and just when you think you can't stand it anymore, it stops. Oh. Breathe. Quiet. Still dark. No, no! Stop the sound! Stop the sound! Wait! That is a guitar. That is an electric guitar. That's like Jimi fucking Hendrix. That's music. Crazy loud. Welcome to the 60s. Life was loud. Life was good. Life was ours. The darkness of the day exploded with hope, and colors, reds, greens, oranges, yellows. Danger was dead, replaced instead by a bright white light of day. Chapter 1, page 1. Cut to a glistening 1968 late Northern California afternoon day. The sun is just beginning to sink into the sea. Brilliant reds, pinks, oranges, streaking the cliffs, the mountains, and the sky. It's absolutely magical. We're nearing Big Sur, on the way to San Francisco, via the infamous California coastline, Highway 1. Now, this beauty that we are wallowing in is interrupted by an incongruent sound, a clanking of some kind. What is that? Sounds like a cranky old auto engine, one that could use a good mechanic or a good junkyard. And joining the clanking is a sound we recognize from the beginning, a screeching kind of sound, kind of like a siren. Yeah, would that be a police siren? As it gets louder and louder, we cut to something else unexpected. The vibrating headlight of the huge black BMW motorcycle. A 650 for those of you who know motorcycles. Now, this sleek machine could certainly not be the source of the clanking. It could be the target of a police siren. The plot thickens. As we move over the headlight of the bike to the gleaming chrome handlebars, we see a set of small hands that are gripping those handlebars like no tomorrow. Big bike, little hands. And as we continue upwards, we see a small t-shirted torso. And finally, the beaming face of a young woman riding the bike. Cheeks flushed, long, tangled hair flying, eyes watering, whooping a cry of ecstasy. Wow, cool, that's a lot of bike for such a little girl. But what was the clanking? As we pull back, finally, the mystery is solved. The motorcycle is actually static. It's not moving at all, it's vibrating. But instead, it is barely secured with frayed bungee cords to a flatbed trailer that's being pulled by, and here it comes, a clanking and farting 1955 black Ford pickup. So it's actually the truck and the trailer that are moving, not the bike and the passenger at all. And that tiny t-shirted girl perched precariously on the saddle, pretending to be a Hells Angels chick riding into the sunset. That would be Linda. That would be me. A wiry, fiery 20-year-old, pleased as punch with herself, as Marshall, the truck's driver, and Linda's brand new, super hot, super cool, super sweet, super gentle, rocker singer, sometimes bad boy husband of only 5 hours is at the wheel, stoned to the gills, oogling her in the rearview mirror. Now, Marshall's hippie charm, warmth, and joie de vivre, it literally oozes out of every pore of his killer smile. And at this moment, he is grinning ferociously from ear to ear at his badass chick, little Linda, and paying very little attention to the highway ahead. Linda and Marshall whoop in unison, and then that screaming siren we heard, oh yeah, here it comes again. And that would be California Highway Patrol. They're hot on Marshall and Linda's scrawny little asses. For the first time, we hear our heroine Linda speak. Fuck! The police's loudspeaker is blaring and barking, pull over to the side of the road, pull over to the side of the road. And Marshall, who's happily wasted and always singing, chimes in, pull on over to the side of that road, pull on over to the side of that road. Linda, dude, pull over to the side of the road. Now Linda, Marshall, the cops, they're all yelling in unison, pull over to the side of the road, pull over to the side of the road. It's like a little hippie chant or cheer. Well, unbelievably, the Ford Jalopy begins to slow down, and as careful as a careless driver can be, Marshall pulls the truck over to the side of the road, and he brings it to a complete stop. Now, the bigger of the two cops clumps over to Marshall's still rolled up window, knocks on his window with big red knuckles, and shouts as loudly as possible to break through the glass and the smokescreen of Acapulco gold and purple haze. Good afternoon. Driver's license and registration now. The cop has a thick New York accent. He sounds like he's got a terrible cold. And from his girth, he looks like he's probably a Brooklyn beer and calzone guy. So Marshall, who's higher than a bat's ass, he just stares through the window, waves to the cop, smiles, and watches the cop's mouth move up and down in perfect sync with the sputtering sound still coming from the truck. It's very cool. Cop one's getting crankier. He starts rapping again, harder with his knuckles, and jolting Marshall out of his stoned musician's reverie. Yo, I said driver's license and registration now. And under his breath fumes, you dumb, shitty hippie freak. Marshall heard that. He's a little pissed. He knows it's not a good idea to ruffle the pig's feathers. So, fucking with him just a little, he shouts back to the cop in a most ridiculous French accent while sucking on a toke of purple haze. Pardonnez-moi, monsieur. Well, the
cop is getting a little crankier, and he says, "You better roll down that window, asshole, and if you better not have any other goods in there, and I know you know what I'm talking about." Marshall, he is glad he's stoned, because one thing he can have is a temper, but it's a beautiful day, and he's with his badass chick, Linda, and he doesn't want any aggravation. So Marshall, slowly as possible, to irritate Cranky as much as possible, rolls down the fucking window. The tidal wave of smoke that's released from the hermetically sealed truck almost knocks Cranky on his ass. He falls backwards. He inhales. He inhales again. He holds it. He starts to look a little bit happier. But thank you to Purple Haze and Jimi Hendrix. Now, by this time, Linda's climbed off the bike. She's gotten down from the back of the truck's trailer, and she's standing wedged between the two cops. The three of them standing there all together. The cops are fuming, and Linda is smiling and out of breath. Cranky cop. He's feeling a little better. He's not sure if he should be talking at all. Clears his throat, ready for anything. Are you aware that what you are doing is dangerous and illegal? You are going almost 20 miles over the speed limit on dangerous mountain curves. And what are you on a motorcycle that even the cop is confused? It's not really moving, but it is sort of moving. Well, let us just say it is wobbling dangerously. And the other one of you is more interested in looking at the other one of you than the road. Marshall, barely able to speak, but completely able to smile that killer smile. He sticks his head out of the roll-down window. Dude! That's because we're on our honeymoon, dude. I'm a married man, baby. We just got hitched 5 hours, and he looks at his wrist that has no watch on it. 47, 48, 49 minutes ago, dude. Cop one just stares at him. Don't you call me dude. And if you know what's good for you, you be quiet while I am explaining the violations. Driver's license or registration down. And while you're at it, you step out of your vehicle. Linda, who has remained uncharacteristically quiet, she's smiling nervously, and she finally begins to talk. A mile a minute. She's high on the excitement of the day, and also on several hits of speed that she was slipped by her only bridesmaid. Linda, hi. Mom, we're so sorry, dudes. It's just that we're just stoked. I mean, our wedding was out of sight. I am a wife. And it was shitty. Not the wife or the wedding, but it was shitty. My parents missed it, though, because they were trying to fly in from Detroit. That's where I was born. But there was a freak snowstorm. So next snowstorm, and our plane was delayed for 6 hours. And our justice of the peace, Milton, we didn't know his last name, did we, Marsh? He wanted us to call him Uncle Milty, but we thought it was stupid for a wedding. So anyway, Milton, he couldn't hold off on the wedding because he was doing us a favor in the first place, marrying us on Mother's Day. Today is Mother's Day. Did you know it? Happy Mother's Day to you all, by the way. Happy Mother's Day. By the way, do you still call your mom Mommy? Because I do. Finally, she shuts up. What's your name? My name is Linda. Cranky cop just stares. Cop two, who's been quietly watching and who seems oddly touched and fascinated by this information, he does answer, even though he's not the one being addressed. Hello. Congratulations. My name is George. George! That is a nice name. My first boyfriend in fourth grade's name was George. He had freckles and wore the same plaid shirt to school every day. He sat behind me in Mrs. Keppel's music class and used to play with my hair. That's how he knew he liked me. You see, Milton, he had to leave on time, and he couldn't wait for my parents to show up because he was supposed to take his own mommy to Marie Callender's for lunch at noon. She pauses. She's totally forgotten what she was talking about. But oh, wait, they had Boston cream pie there, but I think they also have sandwiches. Now she finally shuts up. We also got some really, really cool presents, though. Everybody was totally fucked up. Marshall throws Linda a bewildered look, but not as bewildered as the cops. No. I don't mean, we weren't on any drugs. We don't do drugs. We're not on any drugs, and you know what? Acid is not like pot anyway. Marshall chimes in. Yeah, that's my little Linda. She sure knows her shit. Cranky cop, standing with his jaw hanging open, has heard enough. Giving Cop George a look that could kill, he yells to Marshall, "Quiet! And step out of your GD vehicle down." Marshall, by this time, has gone back to listening to his new wife ramble on. But when Cranky raises his voice, he abruptly regains consciousness and realizes he better do what the cop says and get the hell out of the truck. And that is not so easy after the fatty he just smoked. As Marshall begins that long, stoned journey from the front seat of the truck to the ground, Linda lovingly watches with admiration and encouragement. She adores everything that Marshall does. And at this very moment, he can barely remember his name. He struggles to find the seatbelt release. He can't get the door open because he forgot it was locked. And then he misses the running board climbing down from the truck, unfortunately stumbling onto Cranky Cop, who catches him in an awkward embrace. Marshall is very embarrassed, but he remains good-natured and clumsily pulls himself away, oddly giving the cop a little kiss on the cheek, which I did not really understand. And then he falls into Linda's open arms, giving her a big squeeze and a very long, erotic tongue kiss. Cranky and George awkwardly stand by. Linda continues emotionally as she and Marshall hold on to each other, cooing and smooching. Our wedding guests came bearing gifts, assorted crystals from the earth, and beautiful stones, and ribbons, and colorful rocks. Marshall and I did get into a couple of fights about what I was wearing, but it was nothing serious. He didn't like my dress, and he wanted me to go topless and wear a thong matching his. And he didn't like my dandelion crown, so he was worried about the bugs, and he trashed the first one, but it was all good. Marshall chimes in his most sultry and loving voice. Yeah, it was all good, little Linda. You blow my mind, baby. You are the most gorgeous naked, with or without dandelions. He gives her a squeeze, feels her up a little. Linda giggles with erotic joy, and he gives her another deep tongue kiss and continues with passion. And dudes, the guests, oh yeah. Oh yeah. They were people. They were beautiful people. Even the assholes were people. Bringing beautiful shells. Shells are from the sea. And how about this? Are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready. Rainbow brought us a handmade mandala. Cop George is engrossed. He has no idea what a mandala is. And oddly touched, and he asks Marshall in a reverent tone, "A rainbow brought you a present?" Oh, wow. How does it do that? Oh, is that the present? Is that the thing at the end of Rainbow in the Pot of Gold? Cranky cuts him off, just throws him an especially dirty look. George clears his throat and regroups, and in his most authoritative voice exclaims, okay. You can stop talking now. You can show us your credentials, and unless you would both enjoy coming with us. Marshall and Linda politely become quiet. And Marshall, with his usual flair but unusual cooperation, hands over his driver's license and registration to Cranky Cop, but he couldn't help mumbling under his breath, "Here you go, dick face." Fortunately, Cranky did not hear him. Surprisingly, the documents were in excellent order, and Cranky's quite impressed. He reads aloud in his most professional voice. Marshall Michael Robidorf. That's a very nice name. And congratulations, you are not expired. The two cops seem to take a deep breath at the exact same time. They look at each other and they silently agree, and Cranky proclaims, "We should be taking you both in, but okay, a little wedding gift from us to you. If you get going at the speed limit, we will follow you down the mountain with just a warning this time." Linda, beyond grateful, effervesces to both cops. "Oh, man. Thank thank you so much. And she spontaneously reaches up and hugs Cranky Cop, who surprisingly hugs her back. And not so surprisingly, Cop George opens his arms to her and gives her a big bear hug. Linda continues, the hit of speed from her bridesmaid have not worn off. Okay, but before we go, I just have to pee real quick. I have to pee a lot when we're on the road and I'm riding the bike, you know, the vibration and all the toilets are awful at all the gas stations. There's hardly ever any toilet paper, and sometimes it looks like it's been used and sometimes it has been. So I usually carry a little packet of tissue with me, but we used it up getting the shit off my sneakers. So I will be back in a jiffy. Before anyone can say anything else, Linda begins to unbutton her jeans. She heads over to the ocean side of the mountain. Steep cliffs lie below, unsteady now as her jeans are now around her ankles. Both Cranky and George yell in unison, don't, not there! Go to the other side of the road without the drop-off into the ocean, please. Linda, what? Cranky, the other side! We don't want a DOA now, do we? No, we do not, especially not on your wedding day. Linda, oh yeah. I got it, the other side. I'm going to the other side. Yeah. So Linda, with her jeans still around her ankles, she waddles over to the other side, and she disappears behind some brush while everything and everyone stops and waits. As she returns, wiping her hands on her jeans, she starts to climb back up on the motorcycle that's still hooked up to the trailer. Cranky, Hey! Where you going? Get the fuck in the truck. Get in the goddamn piece of crap truck. Cop George adds, sorry, he don't mean to swear. It's just his wife swears at him all the time, and he needs to get it out somewhere. Linda sheds a look of pity to Cranky. Dude, what a bitch. And then the light bulb goes on. I got it. I'm supposed to get in the truck, right? Not on the truck. Cranky Cop, approaching total exhaustion. Oh my God, what did I say? Didn't I say truck? George nods. Yes, sir, you said truck. Cranky summoning his last straw. Get in, you effing truck now. Put on your effing seatbelt now. Start your effing engine now and drive effing slowly now. Linda, still smiling, as only a stoner can, yells, thanks, dudes. She blows kisses to her new friends. She waves heartily. She climbs into the cab of the truck. And she sits as close to Marshall as possible. She buckles up, making sure the cops are watching. She's giggling giddily. She gives Marshall one more wet, passionate tongue kiss as he turns the key to start up their fuming chariot. With a big sigh from all, off they finally go, Linda and Marshall loudly singing Melinda by the Birds while ripping into and sharing a hand-baked loaf of macrobiotic whole wheat bread that, yes, was a gift from one of the beautiful people. Mouths full, hearts full, at the speed limit. Off they go with their wedding day police escort. Cranky, over the loudspeaker, he's not done yet. He's breathing hard. He's clearly ready for a few drinks and a couple of pizzas. Marshall! Keep both the goddamn hands on the wheel, Marshall. Feed him the bread, Mama Linda. Do not let him use his hands. He needs both of them to steer. Feed him! Fade out on a close-up of Marshall's mouth, wide open, like a big baby bird waiting for breakfast, about to chomp down on a chunk of homemade bread. Cut to 5 hours and now 58 minutes earlier, the wedding day. Close up on that same open mouth, still gaping like a big baby bird, still ready to chomp down, this time on a ragged piece of wedding cake, which really is the exact same macrobiotic, Cement like bread, only this time it's covered in celebratory neon pink buttercream frosting. Complete with mms and yummies, we pull back to see Linda licking her fingers, licking Marshall's mouth, kissing him deeply. Both their faces are heavenly smeared in pink buttercream. We become aware that the newlyweds, oblivious to their surroundings, they're jammed into a rickety redwood outhouse. It's filled with smoke as Linda and Marshall alternate between sharing the wedge of cake and a joint. Linda's dressed in a white cotton Mexican lace dress that she borrowed from the same bridesmaid who slipped her the speed. Complete with a big grease-stained front and center, her long waist-length auburn hair held in place with a headband made of dandelions, and a psychedelic sticker on her forehead. Marshall's dressed in not much of anything, except a leather headband, a thong, and he also has a psychedelic sticker covering his third eye. They're both barefoot, stoned, and in love. Linda. I probably shouldn't eat the cake before my mom and dad get here. Marshall. Nah, don't worry about it, Linda. It's dope. Just tell them there was no cake. Let's just tell them there was no wedding. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a shit show for him, right? Marshall reconsiders. Nah, it's bad karma to lie. Let's just tell him the truth. While we were waiting for him to arrive, we took the cake in the shitter and we ate it. You think they're here yet? Jesus, how long have we been in this dump? I got a great idea. Let's get out of here. With that, Marshall stands up, throws open the door, and finds himself standing toe to toe with Linda's big brother, Tommy, who hauls off and pops Marshall in the nose, shouting, "That's for fucking my sister." We guess the family has arrived. Linda, shit, Tommy, what the fuck? Marshall, dude, yeah, what the fuck? Is that any way to treat your brother-in-law? Tommy, yeah, if it's you. What the fuck is right? This is a good example of using fuck and really meaning it. As Marshall is trying to recover, we see a neatly dressed little woman. She's running and tripping into view, big sunglasses reeking of expensive Joy perfume, and completely out of breath. This is Linda's mother, Dorothy. Mom, just stop it. Stop it, Tommy. Just stop it. You are still a big bully. Now sit down and listen to me. Back off, please. She's breathless behind those big sunglasses. She's been totally crying, almost hysterical, as she sees her little Linda. Oh, hi, honey. Oh, my God. Let me look at you. Oh, baby, you look beautiful. The bride. You didn't wash your hair, though, did you? And your dress? She notices, ignores the stain. Well, it's not exactly a gown, right? But that's no matter. We could find something nice for you to change into. No, you know what? Never mind. At least you are not sick. And we're here. There was a freak May snowstorm in Detroit, the middle of May on Mother's Day. It was unbelievable. Our plane was grounded for 6 hours. Thank you for waiting for us. Marshall was barely able to stand at this point or speak. Mrs. Shaye, Mom, or is it Mommy? We didn't exactly wait, Mommy, because it being Mother's Day and all. Hey, happy Mother's Day to you, by the way. The Justice of the Peace, his name is Milton, just like the Paradise Lost guy. He could only wait a little because he was taking his mommy to Marie Callender's for Mother's Day lunch. Mom, still smiling and nodding, notices the bulge in Marshall's thong. She looks like she's ready to faint. We missed it? Marshall, no. Don't you worry, Mommy. You know what? You only sort of missed it. Because he looks at Linda. We're going to do it again, just for you. And good news, there's always good news, right? There's a little wedding cake left. We only ate a little piece of it in the shitter. And it's a little crumbly, but it is delish. At this very moment, here comes Linda's dad, Max. He's slipping and sliding on what now has become a steeper and muddier trench, down to the outhouse. He's dressed up in a navy blue suit and a silver tie with enormous size 13 shoes, now completely consumed in tombs of mud from the hike down. Marshall. Hey, Dad. Hi, Dad. Congratulations, dude. And happy Mother's Day to you, too. We're so glad you could make it. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all just get away from this smelly caca and we can just go up to the house? There's lots of people, happy people there, and we can start it all over again. We could just start down that aisle all over again just for you. Linda. There's no aisle. Marshall. Oh, well, we can walk down that path, kind of like an aisle again, so our mommy and daddy can see how happy we are to finally be able to fuck legally. No more banging on the door 6 a.m. to see if your daughter's there, right, Dad? Dad? Daddy-o? Does that sound good? Daddy? Tommy hauls off and pops Marshall in the face again. This time he gives him a bloody nose. Dad, who's been shell-shocked up to this point and has not even said hello, he rushes in, he grabs Tommy, he tries to grab Linda, who's yelling stop and socking Tommy, watches in horror as Mom's knees start to buckle, and then sighs in relief as Tommy, the asshole, catches her. Mom gratefully regains herself. I mean, Jesus, this is the wedding. Tommy to Linda. What the fuck is wrong with you? I knew I had a moron sister, but I didn't know there was a bigger moron on the planet than her, and he threatens Marshall yet again. Marshall, now realizing he's got a bloody nose, he's had it with Tommy. Hey, Tommy, it's your turn to shut the fuck up, dude. That's my new wife you're talking to. I got this. My roommate Jim said he would do the vows again. No problem. He heard every word that Milton said, and he heard it even before he dropped acid. Jim is a very good listener, a very good memorizer. He's also a very good dancer. And no worries about his outfit. He's been tripping for a few days and he thinks he's Liza Minnelli. He's been performing cabaret for us every night at dinner. He's pretty good. And speaking of the devil, here he comes. Here comes Marshall's longtime performance artist friend in garter belt, black fishnet stockings, spiked heels that sink deeper and deeper into the outhouse mud with every stride. He looks like he's walking backwards. Calling, hey guys, welcome, bienvenido. Oh, hey guys, he is deep in the heart of peyote. Come on, hurry up, Mom. Hey, Dad, if we're gonna do this thing again, we gotta get a move on, because I am having a little trouble standing. Mom, this thing? Is that what you people think this is? A thing? This is not a thing. This is a marriage. This is forever. This is, and with that, Mom trips down a root. And instead of the group managing to catch her, this time there is a pileup, and Mom is on the bottom. Cut to 1 month before the wedding. A small cluttered room. You can barely make out anything. A single bed, clothes on the floor, a couple of acoustic guitars, ashtrays with half-smoked roaches. We hear a loud wind-up clock ticking. We hear a rustle of sheets, some soft giggles. We hear, hi. We hear, hi. We hear more sheets rustling.
We hear a little playful growling, a couple of ouches here and there. We hear barely audible sweetnesses, some slightly slurpy kissing sounds, whispered words wrapped around breath. Quiet. Then we hear Linda. Pause. You can almost hear Marshall's heartbeat. Linda, I love you. Linda, softly, incredulous. What? Marshall, a shy whisper. I do. I love you. Linda, a big intake of breath. She kisses him gently, whispers, wow. A long beat of silence. And then with one more deep breath and courage, she whispers, I love you too. Beat. They sigh together. They breathe together. Pause. Then quietly from Marshall, Linda, will you marry me? Linda, long pause. What? Marshall continues with strength. Will you marry me? It's forever. Linda, another long beat of thought, mixed with delight and shock. Forever is long, Marshall. But for however long, yes, 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 I will. Forever and ever. No more sound. Quiet. Just breath. Breathing together. Cut to 2 months earlier, 2 months before the proposal. It's pitch black, it's always black. We hear the same wind-up clock ticking. But this time we hear pounding on a door. An old front door of a broken-down house on the east side of Detroit, where a gray-haired, handsome man is banging. It's Linda's father. He's shouting much too loud for 6 a.m. Linda! Linda! I know you're in there. You open this door right now. You are coming with me. Your mother is completely sick with worry. Linda and Marshall are now sound asleep in a little single bed upstairs. They're wrapped around each other, and both of their eyes pop open almost simultaneously as they hear the banging. Linda looks at Marshall. It appears she knows exactly who it is. She nervously giggles, dives under the covers, and scoots down to the bottom of the bed. Marshall, come on, Linda, shit. Your father knows you're here. We gotta face the music. Linda grumbles a quiet beat. She scrambles up for air and takes Marshall's face in her hands. But you stay here, okay? And Marshall knows that she's right. Suddenly, out of the blue, Lenny, Marshall's heroin addict roommate, he throws open the upstairs door to his room. Lenny runs the show. It's his house. His Fu Manchu mustache is perfect. He pays his share of rent by dealing dope or proclaiming, "It's my house, suck my dick or get out." And there he is, in all his glory, not happy to be woken up at 6 a.m., standing totally naked, high as a kite in a cloud of smoke, and yells, "Yo! Hey, what the fuck, dude? I'm gonna get the goddamn door. Marshall, come on, looks like some old guy's out there looking for your girlfriend. I'll bet it's Daddy. Tell her to put her panties on. Daddy don't want to see her pussy this early in the morning."
Never mind, asshole. Finish fucking and I will get it, and you owe me. More pounding on the door. We think Dad's crying. And here comes Lenny, clumping down the stairs, buck naked, joint hanging out of his mouth, tracks evident on both arms, dick swinging in the breeze. He throws the front door wide open, and yes, Dad is crying, but stops his tears abruptly in total disbelief as he, for the first time, meets the vision of long, tall, naked Lenny, who's standing 2 inches from his face, breathed in a cloud of smoke. Yeah. What do you need, Grandpa? As if that's not enough. Here he comes again, performance artist, roommate extraordinaire Jim. He's still on peyote. He's also buck naked, on at least 2 tabs of acid, several hits of nitrous oxide, unexplainably weeping, ink head to toe, a joint hanging out of his mouth, an even bigger joint between his legs, totally erect and tattooed with a skull and a rose stretched to the max. Upon seeing Dad, much to everyone's surprise, Jim suddenly stops crying and he erupts with joyful, loving affection. Dada. Oh, Dada. Oh, wow. Oh, look at you. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Dada. You got a great head of hair, dude. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Pause as Jim looks Dada up and down, and suddenly even more ecstatic, if that's possible. Dude, oh no, oh fuck me, oh my God, that is a great shirt. No, wait, is that jammies? No, there's no jammies allowed in this house. That's a shirt, and that is from Poochie, am I right? I like Saks Fifth better, though. We in the dope biz, we call Saks Fifth sex filth. They have free cocktails every Friday. He chuckles to himself, mumbles something else incoherent, and then whispers, I bet they voted for Nixon. And he cracks himself up. Dad has now totally stopped crying. He stands there in shock, his mouth hanging open. He's looking at the 2 naked men in front of him, and he cannot take his eyes off their dicks. Jim, dude, you want a hit? And he offers Dad the joint by trying to stick it in Dad's mouth. No, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? He coughs once in Dad's face. You wanna come in? We got Jack. We got Canadian Club. We got some really righteous skunk. We got shrooms. We got meth. We got some snappers, dabs, amber, antifreeze. Oh, we got homemade tequila. And I could show you the meth lab we're working on. He now sees Linda making her way down the stairs. Jim clears his throat and tries to whistle. Woo, 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 shwee, shwoo. Hey, a beautiful Miss Razzle Dazzle on toast. Wow, you're looking good, babe. Mm-hmm. Better button your pants, though. I see you let the cat out of the bag. I could see your pubes. And I just met your old man here, Daddy-O. Love his hair in that fucked up shirt. Back to Dad politely. Dad, we also got Mountain Dew. And we got Coke. Not that kind of Coke. We got that too, but I meant Coca-Cola, like in the little green bottles from your generation. Jim abruptly stops talking. Suddenly, everyone becomes very still, waiting for the real fireworks between Linda and her dad that they know are about to begin. Except for Jim, who begins having another private conversation with himself and someone else not there. Linda is now all the way down the stairs. She's ignoring Jim's routine ramblings and squeezes between him and Lenny to face the music. It's time. Dad and Linda face off. Linda. Hey, Dad. She searches for something to say that will satisfy her fuming father. Dad, I knew I'd find you here, Linda. Linda, Dad? It's okay, Dad. We're going to stay together. We even talk about getting a place together, just right here in Detroit, Dad. Maybe even near you and Mom. Dad, you are what? Oh my God, just stop talking. You're not getting anything, nothing, except in the car. And you're going nowhere, and I mean nowhere, for a long time. Your mother's not stopped crying with worry, and you are a liar, Linda. What happened to my gorgeous daughter? My little Linda, who I used to tell Candyland stories to every night before bed so you would have sweet dreams. Dad was close to weeping. Do you remember? Do you? That you would snuggle into my arms in your little ritual of kissing me once on each cheek before you would even let me begin? Do you even remember? Every single night, I would tuck you in, and then I would begin. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Linda. And just about now, she would hear a tap, tap, tap on her window, and I would make a tapping sound that you couldn't see me do with my nails on your nightstand, and it always startled you with giggles, and I would pretend to startle too. Oh, what is that? Oh, that is the little white horse with silver wings. And he's tap, tap, tapping on your window, nickering to you to climb on his back so he could whisk you away out your window, past your rainbows, to Candyland. That secret place that was all yours, flowing with rivers of red pop and groves of Tootsie Roll trees. And then your eyes would be heavy and almost closed, and you most likely were already climbing a Tootsie Roll tree. Do you even remember? A long pause, and Dad continues. That little white horse with silver wings, he's dead. Dad is breathing heavily. He's trying to get the words out. You're acting like I hate to say it, a hippie or a whore, and I don't know which one is worse. Now you get your little tushy in the car. You're going nowhere. Linda, Dad, fuck, you've got to hear me. I love him, Dad. Forever and ever, just like you and Mom talk about. Dad, you don't know what forever is. We hear a smooth, fancy car engine start and rev. Dad and Linda are on their way. The purr of the Lincoln's engine begins to distort and transition into a cacophony of sounds we've heard before. Uncomfortable squealing distortions, transforming into motorcycle sounds. Louder, more distortion, combined with chants from before. The side of the road, pull over the side of the road. Tap, tap, tap on a window, pull over the side of the road. And now back to the beginning. A screaming guitar, the screech of a car, the scream of a woman in pain. All these things like rain pouring down on you. Unbearable! Cut to July 7, 2 months after the wedding, 3 days after 4th of July, 7/7. It's a hot Saturday afternoon. Linda's sitting alone, cross-legged on the floor of the living room. She's in a small house now in the Mission District of San Francisco that she and Marshall share with unemployed John, his newly pregnant wife, Doreen, and their 2-year-old son, Ishi. Ishi always has a shitty diaper. And he never stops crying. Mommy Doreen never notices, never stops smiling, and only cries at night. John, Doreen, and Ishi are gratefully out for the day. The house is quiet except for the familiar sound of Jimi Hendrix and his squealing guitar blaring from the stereo in the next room. Since the families have not paid their phone bill, no phone calls can be made out, and today is the last day incoming calls can be received before service is cut off altogether. Linda's still in her underwear. Several white-knotted t-shirts of Marshall's ready for their tie-dye makeover sit next to her on the floor. It's close to 3 p.m. Waiting for Marshall. 10 a.m. that morning, he was off on his motorcycle to visit cousin Sam. Just out the door, he turned to Linda. You want to come? Linda shakes her head. Nope. Marshall exhales dramatically. Come on, Linda. This could be the ride of our lives and you never come. Linda remains firm, but beams with delight. Sounds good, but I can't. I've got cookies in the oven. And I'm making little tuna sandwiches on little biscuits that I know someone loves. No onion to take with us tonight. Marshall grins, peck on the cheek. He's off on his bike. The big nighttime plans. Oh, the Holy Grail. Big Brother and the Holding Company and Janis Joplin live in Golden Gate Park, a free moonlight concert. There is nothing better. Marshall's going to wear the moccasins Linda just finished making for him. The right one's bigger than the left. She hopes he won't notice. One of the tie-dye t-shirts should be ready by then, too. The one she knew he'd like the best. And cookies, his favorite. Chocolate chip, laced with the best pot money can buy. The silence of her thoughts is suddenly broken by the phone ringing, an unexpected jarring, a man's annoyed voice. Ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, are you on the line? Audible frustration. I'm trying to reach a Linda Romanoff. Is this she? Hello? Is this Linda Romanoff? Do you know a Marshall Romanoff? There's been an accident and Marshall Romanoff was DOA. That's dead on arrival at 1:20 p.m. this afternoon, and you're going to need to come down to the morgue to identify the body. Hello? Hello? Frozen. Heart pound. Sizzling sound. A heartbeat dead into silence. Hanging by a thread. Breathe in, body rigid in cartoon animation. Suspended, hanging, strangling by a thread. The afternoon sun steaming through the window. Burning, frozen eyes. Hello? Then, what now has become familiar, what now has become the only sound, that ear-splitting music from the room next door, that's become even louder and louder. And the loudest yet, Jimi Hendrix and his screaming guitar. Linda stands up. The phone drops to the floor. Each foot weighs 1,000 pounds. And in slow motion, she makes her way to the next room where the ear-splitting music is coming from. She just stands there. I just stand there. Blind, bathed in frantic sound. Just stand there. No expression, frozen. Stop the sound. Just stop the sound. The volume knob is gone. Where is the volume knob? Where's the fucking knob? John said he was gonna fix it. Where's the fucking knob? The sound is ear-splitting. Please, please, just shut up. The knob. Is it on the floor? Is it behind the door? Is it under the chair? Is it in the air? The house next door, across the street, across the ocean on Highway 1. Please, 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 just stop the sound. Scurrying like a cockroach, I overturned chairs, ripping curtains with my hands, clawing plastic. The music, it just gets louder and louder. I scream, no one hears. Jimi Hendrix wails, the guitar shrieks, louder and louder. I sit back down on the floor. I let the sound envelop me, tear into me, devour me. I stand up, I sit down, I stand up, I sit down, down, back up, then back down, 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 melting into the floor, my brain, my heart, my memories, my past, my present, my future, my life. I can still hear the voice coming from the receiver on the floor. Now a blur, like a broken record, a macabre nursery rhyme, over and over. You will need to come down, you will need to come down, you will need to come down to the morgue. Mocking me, taunting me, down to the morgue, you will need to come down to the morgue. The loving rhymes and Candyland stories of my father have melted. The little white horse is dead, plucked by a vulture and laying with a broken neck in the dust of my memory. This is the new story. This is the new memory, the new rhyme to never forget. Dissolve to a mixed montage, sound imagery light, fast cuts of hands on motorcycle handlebars, laughter, Linda and Marshall walking down the aisle, chewing wedding cake, making love, mom in sunglasses crying, Lenny, Jim, tattoos, Janice, big brother, Jim Morrison, louder and louder and louder, reach their crescendo, and then silence and pitch black. I fumble my way to the center. I sit down on the floor. My eyes are closed. I'm not looking out. I want to see nothing. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. A moment a week, a day. A moment a week. Another week. And then, suddenly and unceremoniously, a kaleidoscope of colors return. Reds, blues, pinks, oranges. Like that sunset over the ocean. There's a rainbow of light. My eyes are still closed. I am not looking out. I see nothing. And then the rainbow shrinks from my body and is only on my face. And then the colors fade. And it becomes just a soft glow. And my eyes pop open. Let me tell you about the beginning before the end. It was 2 years before all this happened. 1966, the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan, my sophomore year. I was scared I wouldn't get accepted to U of M because of my mediocre high school record. But being a resident of Michigan, they had to let me in. I picked art history as my major because I thought I would imagine myself in dark classrooms, lounging, watching magnificent slides of medieval times to the present. I was only partly right. I was very grateful to have made it to my sophomore year, and I was very excited to find out about something called Soft Show, which was the routine musical done every year by every sophomore class. And this year, it was going to be the energetic musical romp, Bye Bye Birdie, which was inspired from the hysteria over Elvis Presley. Now, I am definitely not much of a singer, but there was one role, a character named Ursula Merkel. And Ursula happened to be the leader of the Conrad Birdie, aka Elvis Presley fan club. And she didn't need to sing. She was described as a gossip, overexcitable, and screechy. I got the part. They told me on the spot, and jubilantly, as I exited the audition, I heard some heavy-duty swearing coming from somewhere, and I looked over, and I see this big, good-looking guy in a black leather jacket trying to start a big black BMW motorcycle. Thought, cool, there's a dude, and kept walking. Now, for some reason that I will never know, this handsome guy with a head of hair and his black leather jacket stood up and said, "Hey, you, guess what? I got the part. I'm Conrad Birdie. Eat your heart out, Elvis. Here I come. And you, hey, you're my Ursula Merkel. Come on, baby, jump on the back of the bike. Let's go home." That was Marshall. How did he know? I'd never even seen him before. And without one word, I jumped on the back of the bike, put my arms around his waist, and off we went. Long hair flying, no helmets, no gear, just whooping that cry of ecstasy, like we had known each other forever and ever, with no idea where we were going.